hope you guys had a good Christmas. Let me share this, and we're going to jump into tonight's topic, which is about resilience. Becoming more resilient, both mentally and emotionally, which is super important. Um, if my computer will let me, or my phone will let me share this, let's see. So, if you've never watched me before, my name is Bernadette. I'm a spiritual teacher, a healer, a psychic, and a life coach. So, here we go. All right. Say hello when you get here. Hi, Bernie. Hi, Janine. I hope you guys had a good Christmas, at least relaxing to some degree. Hopefully, I can see comments. It's having issues in my. I can. Yay. Hi, Mandy. Hi, Nikki. Hi, Sarah. You guys are all here. Hello. Siri's answering. That's hilarious. Half the time she doesn't work. Aloha. All right. So let's talk about resiliency. This is a topic Spirit has been wanting me to talk about with you guys for a while. And has been giving me messages about it. So I thought I'd hit the topic and get you guys at least thinking about this. So, what is resilience? Resilience is the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties and from things that you don't necessarily like. It's about being able to bounce back. Doesn't mean that you're not broken. Hi, Lisa. Welcome. Hi, Gabrielle. It doesn't mean that you're not stretched, right? When bad things happen, or what you consider bad things, challenging things, it doesn't mean that you aren't bent out of shape, so to speak, ever. What resilience means is when tough times come, when challenges happen, that you are able to quickly get back on your feet and keep moving, that you don't stop, that you don't just give in, that you don't just lay down and give up. Welcome, Nazim. Right? Hi, Maya. You guys are all here. Crazy. Cool. If you want to share this live stream, go ahead and share it now with your friends, your family, people that need to hear these types of topics. Okay. Anyways, so the reason I'm sharing this, again, Spirit has had this. I've been taking notes and downloads for a couple of weeks now. It's been intense. But a lot of people have experienced some trials and tribulations, some emotional swings, and there have been a lot of them lately that tend to make you feel very overwhelmed, right? As sensitives, as empaths, as people on a spiritual path, a lot of things can happen at a rapid pace, like concurrently, lots of stuff comes up. And if you don't have resilience and you don't have a way to enact resilience, you can get knocked over, and it can tend to make you feel like, there's no point. And that's the last thing I want all of you to go to, because it's really important in the time that we're in right now that you develop more and more tools and plans to become more resilient. This has been a tough year. Hi, Megan. Hi, Donna. This has been a tough year. I'm not going to try and blow smoke up your butts and tell you guys, oh, it's been a great year. It has not. We've all gone through challenges this year. And as we move into finishing out the year and get to 2019, certainly looking back over the year, like we all tend to do at the end of a year, you can look back at the trials and tribulations that you've experienced this year, any losses, any endings, and think, what's the point, right? And not go to a place of resiliency. One of the things that I developed through many trials in my younger years is resiliency. Always picture myself as Tigger the tiger with the springy tail, right? Like Tigger can get knocked over. Tigger can bounce himself out of problems really quickly. How does he do it? How do I do it? How do you guys do it? What are your tools when you feel like you're getting knocked down or disappointed, dejected? What do you do to get back up quickly and to keep moving? That's the point of all of this, because you need to have in your own mind belief systems that support you getting back up. You need to have a plan in place and beliefs that support you continually moving forward and not giving up. Been a tough life. Many of us can say the same, but it's those kinds of things that we don't want to buy into too much. Thinking that life's just always hard, thinking that things never work out for you, right? Is the It creates the opposite of resilience. Resilience and being able to pick yourself up and move on quickly takes attitude. Like it's all about your belief system. It's all about your focus and it's about your attitude. One of the quickest ways that I learned how to bounce and bounce quickly was to always keep in mind that whether or not I could see what was happening and that it was for my highest good, that I need to believe in a benevolent universe, that the universe is kind, that God is kind, that there wasn't like all these forces out to hurt me, to damage me, to take me down. It can feel like it's sometimes, a lot of times, those are course corrections or it's karma, it's lessons, and we're not getting it when we get pressed like that. We live in a world of free will, right? We live in a world where people get to make choices, and sometimes their choices, their behaviors are just crappy. If you take those things personally, it literally strips you of your ability to be resilient. It strips you because you think somehow that you are being controlled by circumstances and you're not in control, which is the wrong place to be. If you're going to bounce and you're going to bounce quickly, you really need to get your attitude and your mind wrapped around the idea that this is a benevolent universe. There are some things that are malevolent that happen, that feel heavy, that are unwanted, that are unexpected, that are disappointing, but it's temporary. And that's the point. If you can remember that it is in fact temporary, it's not permanent, it's impermanent, right? You're permanent. Think about that word, impermanent. Means I'm permanent. You're the only thing that's permanent in the equation in any given moment. You're the only thing. Your consciousness will go on even past the temporal nature of your physical body. If you can always remember that and know that as a spirit and your consciousness, as a spirit, you are developing, you're evolving, you're growing, you're learning, you're expressing your unique individual self. No matter what happens in the physical world, right? No matter what loss you think you've incurred, no matter what disappointment you've been through, if you can remember all these things are not permanent, they're temporary, they're fleeting, they're passing, then you will be able to get back up and keep going. And as you continue to move forward, you will find it's faster to get back up. If you can replace these old beliefs that say that life is just horrible and nothing ever goes right for me with everything always happens for my highest good. I am being directed to my highest path to become my highest self, the expression that best expresses unconditional love in me, wisdom, kindness, compassion, all those things. You will be able to bounce so much better. It won't be a place of getting stuck. We get stuck in the reflection of the problem, the disappointment, the issue, the trauma. Had a situation that hurt my heart, able to use the tools from Charm Life, didn't let myself stay down like I would have before the class. Perfect, Mandy. That's exactly what I'm talking about. It is about coming up with tools. It is first the depersonalization of whatever it is that has knocked you down and made you feel like things are not going your way or that you are some way lacking something. We all have to release things, right? Everything tends to on this planet have an expiration date. Everything has a time, a season. And when we expect things to last forever on a planet in a life that isn't forever, right? Our lives here are measured. There's a season for everything within our lives, right? There's a season for work. There's a season for play. There's a season for rest. There's a season for partnership and a season to spend alone. If we try to just keep everything the same way, we would never evolve. So resiliency is about understanding the natural flow, the natural ebbs of life, that sometimes, things are coming at you and coming to you, and sometimes things are moving away from you. It isn't a personal punishment. It isn't meant to hurt you. It's all about growth. It's all about learning. It's all about expressing. And if we can remember that and not personalize it and then get stuck in the focus of that thing, that issue, that hurt, that letdown, we can move through things in a much quicker pace and with way less um, hurt and battle scars, right? So I urge all of you to do what's necessary to develop more mental resilience, where you don't just drop into a place where you're sitting there in a place of blame and focusing on the problems over and over, and all these things haven't worked out, and you're telling the story of how they didn't work out. Charm Life is great for that. That is the very thing we work on, is actually clearing those issues, and dealing with what they were meant to teach you, so that you can actually retain the lesson. You can get it, you can retain it, you can move beyond it, so you don't have to repeat it. Because that's the other thing. Things will repeat in your life until you get it. They stick around in your life. Your lessons will just keep repeating. Maybe not the same person, different face, different place, different job. Doesn't matter. It will repeat until you get the lesson, because this is what we're here to learn. We're here to learn how to be the best versions of ourselves. We're here to evolve. We're here to grow. And we cannot do that in a place where nothing changes. Things have to change. But we are creatures that love things to remain the same. One of the reasons I think Spirit wanted me to share this all with you guys is because we're moving into 2019, a year of massive change. There's going to be revolutionary changes, the way we do things, the way we do school, the way we do money, the way we do life and relationships. All of it's going to change. The paradigm that we have been living in is changing. What we have considered very important and unchangeable is actually changing. And it's going to require you to be very resilient. You will have to be more like a willow tree, where you can bend in the winds of change, where you can flow with it and not resist it. If you are in a place of resistance, you will go down much faster and stay down much longer than if you're in a place of flexibility, adaptability, and resilience. Much better than resistance. Unfortunately, a lot of people are very resistant to change. I'm afraid of change. I don't like change. I hear it all day, every day. Yes, I'm in a dysfunctional relationship, Bernadette, but I love them and I don't want to let go. I'm not done yet. It's like, all right, then you will continue to have these same issues and these same problems showing up until you're ready to release, until you're ready to let go, and until you can see that even when something leaves your life, something better, something stronger, something more evolved will replace it. Right? The universe abhors a vacuum. Whenever a void is created, the universe fills that space. But if someone or something is in your life that is not good for you and you're holding tightly to it, you're actually blocking the doorway of your own abundance by not letting the good come in, because you're holding on to something that is no longer in your highest good. Expiration date, right? How many times have we stayed in relationships, in jobs, in towns, in ways of thinking, because we're afraid of that change. We're afraid of the unknown. We are entering a year of big unknowns, so we have to embrace it and look at the possibility. Look at what's possible, what solutions are available, things that we don't even know about yet, and embrace those things rather than resisting change and resisting the unknown. And it will be amazing what is possible through all of that if you will focus there. Gratitude is a way to get yourself into the place of mental resilience. If you get into a state of gratitude where you're literally saying it out loud, writing it down, what are you grateful for? What is working? Right? Stop focusing on what's not working, because it's really easy to get stuck there. Right? Like, oh, this isn't working. That's not working. This person said You can go on, and people do it for years and years and years. It's not going to help you. It's not going to help you heal. It's not going to help you grow. It's not going to get you where you want to be, which is to feel better. We all just want to feel good, feel at peace, feel better, right? Focusing on what you aren't getting, what you think you deserved from a certain person or whatever. If you're focused on the problem or what was lacking or what they did to you, you will not bounce back quickly. Anytime I've had to release, whether it's a relationship or it's a home or it's a client, I always say, I manifested you. I'm a powerful creator, and I will manifest something 100 times better and give myself the power back. Right? Like, that's the deal. You give yourself the power back. If I can manifest, I said this to my ex, one of my exes, a couple of my exes actually. We ended the relationship, and of course sometimes people say mean things. They want to put you down, and it's like, I remember my daughter's father was saying a bunch of crap to me one day, and I was like, I manifested you by writing you down on a list, like all the qualities and all the things I wanted to have and experience in a relationship. I can actually manifest something 100 times better. So it's okay. You need to leave, go, and go quickly. Don't delay. There's the door, and not be upset about it. We have this belief that we have to grieve loss, that we have to beat ourselves up over things. We call ourselves failures if things don't work out. So replace the word failure with shifting, changing opportunities, that this is a new time, and it is, right? Not just because it's a new year, but that's part of it. Just in that the energy on this planet altogether is changing, is shifting, is evolving. Be open to all of that. Be like a willow tree. Don't be like an oak tree that's been standing in the ground for eons, and a strong enough wind comes and knocks it over and just breaks it in half because it was so rooted in place. Be like a willow tree. Be able to bend, and your resilience will carry you far, 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 far. All right. You're going to need tools. You're going to need um, sort of strategy. But the more you work on your own internal beliefs as well, the quicker you can bounce back from emotional hurt or mental hurt. Most of the time, our emotional stuff, hi Jill, our emotional stuff is kind of just from whatever our beliefs are, right? I mean, there's so many things that we hold so tightly to within our belief structure of the way we think things are supposed to be, right? That it roots us into dysfunction. It doesn't allow us to be flexible. And we're in a time where we need to be flexible, and we need to learn how to bounce. Be like Tigger. Really, it's so much more fun to bounce from thing to thing. And even if you fall over, you'll be okay. You know, all of you have been through things in life. It's kind of like learning how to ride a bike. We got to fall a couple times and lose our balance before we figure out where the center of gravity is on that bicycle. But just because we fall doesn't mean we don't get back on that bike and try, right? We finally learn how to ride. And then it's amazing. It's the same thing with swimming. I remember learning how to swim when I was a little kid. I was terrified to hold my breath underwater, as most kids are when they're really young. And then once I learned and mastered it, it became a game. Can I swim across the length of the pool without ever coming up for air? But before I knew how to swim or how to control my breath, it was terrifying. I thought I was going to drown, right? All of us did. Once we learned how to master the breath, and that we were safe, and we got it into our heads that we were safe, we would swim the length of the pool, the depth of the pool, and became a game. Who can dive under the water and hold their breath the longest? As adults, we get very rooted in the way we do things. We want things to remain the same, and they just can't. Life is not unchangeable, and life is very temporary. So remember those things. Set some things into play, right? Like when you're in a place of dealing with disappointments and hurts, right? Sit with the discomfort. don't try to run past it. Don't try to go around it. Don't try to bypass it. Sit in the discomfort. It will not last that long if you will just sit in it. Sit in it without judging, sit in it without thinking, or trying to figure stuff. Just sit in it. And if you can breathe your way through it, meditate your way through it, that emotional energy naturally wants to express up and out of you and have you move through it and beyond it. When we run from it, we actually make it grow to the point where then it becomes this big bad monster, and it's everywhere, every corner, everywhere we go, every person we talk to, when we try to avoid that discomfort. So face the discomfort, ride through the discomfort. You may not even understand what all of it is. Hopefully you will. Don't react through it. Don't personalize it. And remember to be grateful, because the more you can move beyond fear, the more you are strong and capable and able to continue forward. And the less you fear, the more resilient you will be all the way through life. Doesn't mean bad things won't happen or hurtful things won't happen. All it means is when they do, you've got that springy tail like Tigger, and you can bounce your way right to the next thing joyfully. Because think about Tigger's attitude too. Tigger was always like joyful and energetic. It wasn't this whole, he wasn't Eeyore. He wasn't like, poor me, life sucks, but here I go, right? I know you guys know people like that. I talk to people like that all day, where they want to tell the story and poor me, and life just sucks. So be more like Tigger, where it's like, yep, I fell down. That was interesting. Now I'm on to the next thing. If you get blocked, if you are being redirected, it's not the end of the world. Redirects are great. When we get redirected, it's amazing, because we get put on the right path. But sometimes we're so attached to it has to be this, it has to be that way, it has to look Stop trying to limit your experience to the way your mind allows things to happen. The universe is infinite. There are infinite possibilities, things you can't even comprehend or imagine. All you need to do is get out of the damn way and move about when you're moved. So someone says goodbye, someone's, a job ends, time to move. Don't resist it. Be resilient. Don't get so rooted in you can't see possibilities or experience possibilities. Be able to flow with the changes. All right. Again, we're going to go through times on this planet in the next year that I'm still trying to decide if I'm going to do a yearly prediction broadcast, but there's going to be a lot of things that people are shocked. They're in shock and awe over, or disgusted over. And it's okay to be like taken aback by people's behaviors. What's not okay is to sit in judgment and then complain and then focus on only that, right? The other thing is, take your time when you're going through things that are disappointing. Take your time in feeling it, but the end result is, I'm going to bounce through this. I'm going to keep going, right? Like, something brings you down, think of it like that spring, right? When you compress a spring, when you hold down a spring, man, when that thing finally lets go, especially if it's a real solid spring, you don't want to be anywhere around it, because the force of it is so powerful. I think of like the springs on our cars, that takes like special tools and a whole lot of weight to get like those things out, or big mechanical springs that are used in machinery. You don't want to be anywhere near that thing when the pressure is released from it. I tend to like to be like that, because when you release that, the energy from it being compressed and finally released takes you high, and it takes you far very, very quickly. So that's a visual for you guys. Remember, through all of this discomfort you've already experienced this year, and that you may experience into next year, because it's just part of life, right? We go through our understanding of preferences. Know that in every single thing, there are insights to be gleaned. So instead of looking for problems, What are the lessons? What are the insights? What did I learn? What was the purpose of that for me? Was it just so that I know that I don't prefer to experience those things? What was it for me? Ask the right questions, focus in the right place, and then you'll be able um, to really make sense of things. And your hindsight will come quicker, right? They say hindsight's 2020 comes quicker when you ask those questions. Rather than taking 5 years, it can just take like a week, and then you're like, oh, I get it. Now I understand why that happened. Some things that we're really attached to, takes us much longer to get an understanding of. I guarantee all of you this: at the moment of your death, when you're doing your life review on the other side, you will understand all of this. So rather than beating yourself up emotionally or mentally, sometimes you just got to release it and know that you'll figure it out much later when other things have filled that void, and then you will understand. All right. I hope you guys have a good one. I will see you later in the week. I'm catching up with a bunch of clients who've been busy all day. Tomorrow's Charm Life. For those of you in Charm Life, we are on a regular schedule, barring any electricity problems, which I don't foresee, but who knows? Yeah. So think about that, you guys. As we wrap up this year, there is this place where we all need to become, even I need to become more and more resilient. With age comes new challenges. Seriously. And like, even as a mother now, I have to get to the place where I can actually release my youngest, and she's in her last year with me. So even that changes. And I can't just get stuck in the place of, but I want you to be a little girl and depend on me. I'm not going to go there. Right. I know a lot of parents that do. When their kids move out, they just become more helicopter-ish in their parenting. And it's like, no, I want her to fly. I want her to do her thing and be a big girl. But is it going to be hard for me to make that adjustment of not being like full-time mom? Yeah, but it also is going to open up a whole other level of possibility for what I get to do with my life. So yeah, not going to resist that either, but that's a hard one. So for those of you too that have gone through that recently, you're empty nesters, that's a big one too, and we can't get stuck there. Or then we develop this whole story. Well, I'm an empty nester, and we put a label on it. I'm an empty nester, and so then we justify our behavior, our choices, and all the other BS. So the King of Swords, been awesome. I don't know what that means. I don't know in what context that means. So yeah. All right, you guys. So have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Think about these things. Think about where you can become more resilient in your life, both mentally and emotionally, because when you develop more resilience in your emotions and within your thoughts and your beliefs, you develop strong spiritual resilience. And as a spiritual person and as a spiritual warrior, which we all are, we need the resilience. We need to be able to bounce back after battles. We need to be able to look beyond behaviors and actions and come from a place of compassion and kindness. And we cannot do that if we get stuck in the disappointment or in the person's behaviors, right? Or in our judgment of the way we think things are supposed to be. So I love you too, Nikki. You guys have a good one. I will see you later this week.